What's up, YouTube? This is Trey, aka Element 80, the voice of reason here in Eastern Texas. I was just watching some TV and I saw, wait for it, King Old Dumbass. And you're not going to believe what he said. I mean, you should believe it. I mean, it just makes no sense. Now, Snuffleupagus, or whatever this guy's name was asking him some questions about the budget and what he thought of Paul Ryan's budget. And just listen what he had to say.
Paul Ryan today put forward his budget, right, and he says he's challenging you to come forward with a budget that also reaches balance. Are you going to do that?
No. My goal is not to chase a balanced budget just for the sake of balance. My goal is how do we grow the economy, put people back to work, and if we do that, we're going to be bringing in more revenue. If we've controlled spending and we've got a smart entitlement package, then potentially what you have is balance, but it's not balance on the backs of, the poor, the elderly, students who need student loans, families who've got disabled kids. That's not the right way to balance our budget.
Okay, so surprise, Obama doesn't think that we need to balance the budget. In fact, he said, no, my goal is not to chase a balanced budget for the sake of having a balanced budget, or something to that effect. In fact, he outlined some of his agenda, or his goals, or his mandate, or whatever it is, right here in this video, in the little clip. His goal is to have smart entitlement programs. Another one of his goals is to increase revenue. Okay, now in a minute, I'm going to let Paul Ryan give his 30-second take on the budget and balancing a budget and the importance there. But I just want to ask you, if Obama was your dad, as Chris Rock alluded to several weeks ago, and y'all had $1,000 a week of income, and Obama was running around spending $1 million a month, and when asked, what do you think about balancing our budget out and spending less than we bring in? He said, no, I don't want to do that. I think we should be spending $1.2 million a month. How would you feel about that? Does that make any sense? And fellas, ladies and gentlemen, people of United States, we've elected this guy for a second term. Okay? So far, what Obama has gotten us is continued war fighting, continued government pork payoffs to unions and other extremely liberal groups, increased spending, socialized medicine. It's absolutely unbelievable. So what are we supposed to do? What are we left with? I'm just speechless. Let's hear what Paul Ryan has to say.
Our budget grows government spending every year by 3.4% instead of the president's path that we are on right now, which is 5% a year. So here's what we're saying. Is it so draconian to scale back the increase in spending by 3.4% a year instead of growing it by 5% a year over the next decade? The difference, of course, is balancing the budget and getting our debt on a path to being paid off so our children inherit a debt-free nation. I'd also say balancing the budget helps grow the economy, and that's what we're trying to do here.
So we're trying to grow the economy. Paul Ryan says we can grow the economy while balancing the budget. Obama, his goal is not to grow the economy for the economy's sake. His goal is to grow the economy so that he can get more money, spend more money, give more money to his supporters, and maintain power and control. Now, if we continue in Obama's direction, we're going to see things like firearms registration, gun confiscation and bans, ammunition taxes, continued attack on small businesses that are absolutely just being destroyed by this administration. We're going to go ahead over the next 2 or 3 years here and watch healthcare as we know it completely deteriorate. Obamacare is bad. It is not a good idea. The medical community understands that. But the problem is there's more people that want smart entitlements than people that actually want to work for what they get in this life. Now, you've been looking at a picture of Thomas Paine, which, if you don't know who Thomas Paine is, come on now, go to Wikipedia, check it out. Go to the library. But y'all need to read this stuff. I've been reading the Federalist Papers. I've been reading some other publications from way back when, constitutional stuff. It's absolutely unbelievable. Now, I think I think that we can come back from this. I still believe at this point that the Republican Party is the best vehicle for our return to the fold, okay? But I do consider myself libertarian, and I believe that libertarian principles are the single most important ideal and thought process to saving our country here. Okay, and to me, that's really what the Tea Party's about. The negative things I hear about the conservative right-wing crazies, or Christian conservatives, or however y'all want to put it, is, well, they want to get rid of abortions and force religion on people in school, and we want to, what else do they say we want to do? Pollute the environment and ruin everything with fracking. And, we're just crazy people clinging to religion, guns, and and Friday night football, And, hey, we like what we like. You like what you like, okay? But I hardly think that teaching Christianity in school or allowing simple student-led prayer to happen in school, or a nativity scene at the local YMCA or city civic hall or whatever, is pushing religion on people. But I do believe that teaching that the Boston Tea Party was a terrorist act, teaching about the Muslim faith and really not giving a fair shake on the Christian side. These things are happening, Suspending kids from school, expelling kids from school because they eat a Pop-Tart into a gun shape. Give me a break. I'm so sick of this. I mean, what has happened to our common sense as a people? What has happened to it? Well, there's so many reasons that things are wrong right now, but I just think that, we've got to be able to get down to the brass tacks of the problem. We've got to get down to the bare bones of what is really wrong here. And what we're looking at is states' rights, individuals' rights, and government expansion and government power, okay? Now, I believe the government should protect the country and make sure that states don't violate the Constitution. Then the states, they can work with commerce, trade, medical, welfare, these kinds of things states handle much more efficiently. Just look at the state of Texas or Arizona. Oklahoma is another good option. Just look at the way they run. Balanced budgets, this kind of a thing. Okay. Now, having said that, look at states like New York, California. There's negative stuff going on here. There's not personal, public, or state level freedoms like we have in free states. Now, what we've got going on today is an expanding federal government that's violating our civil rights outlined in the Bill of Rights and continuing to make harmful decisions and take negative stances, wanting to sit down at the table with the UN to discuss an arms trade treaty, wanting to increase spending and socialize health care, wanting to continue wars, ignoring places that we probably need to pay attention to. Allowing Americans to be killed knowingly. In fact, targeting American citizens to be killed without due process. You know, there's so many things here that are just really, really unbelievable. And yet we vote Obama in for a second term. Now, I'm not crying about it. I went and voted my conscience, and I didn't vote for Obama. And like I said before, I still believe that the Republican Party is the best vehicle for liberty to return to our government. Now, what do we do now? I don't know. You know, I've written my congressmen and my senators. I've written all my representatives. And I've gotten some very, very nice responses back, even some long thought out responses that I'm sure one of their aides spent a very long time typing up in form letter fashion and setting up a fill in the blank function in Microsoft Word or, you know, whatever program they use. And I believe that in Texas it's kind of ridiculous for me to have to do that because as I'm finding out, I believe all the people that represent my district, my area, are fairly like-minded. Maybe some are more religious, some are less religious, I don't know. But here's the deal. 3 main things. I want the federal government to leave me alone. I want the state government to leave me alone. I just want to be left alone.